Let me ask you something raw, something most people spend their whole lives running from. What if pain didn't scare you anymore? What if betrayal, failure, rejection, heartbreak, and loss didn't touch your power, only sharpened it? Because here's the truth, you will be hurt is not the question. The real question is, will you still rise like someone who's untouchable? You see, most people live like fragile glass, one insult, one failure, one bad day, and they shatter. But the ones who win in this world, they learn to act as if nothing and nobody will ever hurt them. Not because they're naive, but because they've made a decision that their spirit is unbreakable, their vision is untouchable, and their future is non-negotiable. This is not about becoming cold. This is about becoming invincible. And if you stay with me, really absorb what I'm about to say, you'll never walk through life the same again. Yes, you were hurt, but now what? Most people carry their wounds like a passport to sympathy, thinking the more they flash their pain, the more justified they are in staying where they are. They live in the past, repeating the same story of betrayal, abandonment, or failure, hoping someone will finally validate their suffering. But validation doesn't build empires. It doesn't generate wealth, discipline, or power. It only prolongs the pain. Every day you continue to identify with your wounds, you rob yourself of who you could become. The world isn't waiting for another victim story. It's waiting for someone who can rise from it, not carry it like a cross. Pain is a teacher, yes, but teachers give lessons and move on. It's the student's job to learn, not build their life inside the classroom. Some people talk about the person who betrayed them 5 years ago like it happened this morning. Others replay the moment they failed like it defines their entire worth. But the truth is that wound, no matter how deep, doesn't get to define you unless you decide it does. You can either keep retelling the same painful narrative or rewrite a new one where you took control. One where the setback wasn't the end, but the spark. You weren't designed to stay broken, you were built to break through. There is a kind of mental poverty that comes not from a lack of resources, but a lack of vision. When all you see is what went wrong, you become blind to what could go right. You become trapped, not by your wounds, but by your attachment to them. And the longer you protect them, the more they become part of your identity. Before long, you're not just someone who failed, you become a failure. You're not just someone who was hurt, you become the hurt one. But here's what most people never realize. Wounds don't heal by being showcased. They heal by being outgrown. Growth happens when you stop explaining your pain and start using it. When you stop asking why it happened and start asking what it's preparing you for. Until you stop worshiping your wounds, your mind will keep kneeling at the altar of limitation. The moment you decide to chase something bigger than comfort, expect resistance. It's not a glitch, it's the price of admission. The world does not reward the dream. It rewards the one who dares to push through the noise, the fear, the criticism, and the chaos. Most people take resistance as a warning sign, as if life is saying, turn back. But in truth, it's saying, prove it. You will face rejection. People will misunderstand you. Some will mock your efforts because your growth makes their comfort zones uncomfortable. You'll be tempted to doubt yourself, not once, but often. That's normal. But what separates the great from the forgotten isn't the absence of resistance, it's the refusal to stop in front of it. Every time you face resistance, you're standing in the exact place where most people quit. That moment, the hard one, the inconvenient one, the one that shakes your certainty, is where people fold. They say, maybe I'm not ready, or maybe this isn't for me. But all that really happened is this: they met pressure and mistook it for failure. The truth, pressure is the only environment where greatness is revealed. Diamonds don't form in softness, champions aren't forged in silence. If you expect the path to be clear and easy, you're not dreaming big enough. Big goals demand resistance. And the bigger the vision, the more forcefully life will test your commitment to it. You must train yourself to anticipate resistance the way an athlete anticipates sweat. It's not optional, it's part of the process. Don't fear it. Build for it. Build habits that keep moving when motivation dies. Build routines that don't care if your mood shows up. Build identity deep enough that people's opinions can't reach it. Because when resistance comes, and it will, you won't be surprised. You'll be ready. There will be days where your effort seems invisible. Times when results don't reflect the energy you've poured in. Moments when the people you love the most won't understand your direction. Keep going. Not because it's easy, not because it feels good, but because you've made a decision to stop negotiating with your limits. Resistance is not the enemy, it's the proving ground for those who dare to continue when the world tells them to stop. Most people are emotional slaves dressed in adult clothing. They think they're making decisions, but in truth, they're just reacting. Reacting to moods, reacting to fear, reacting to other people's energy. They say things like, "I just don't feel like it today," or "I'll wait until I'm more motivated," as if their emotions are the CEO of their life. But emotions are not leaders. They are wild animals. Untrained, they'll destroy your momentum. Controlled, they'll power it. You can't afford to build your life on feelings. You must build it on principles. Feelings are temporary. Principles are timeless. If you only act when you feel confident, you'll stay stuck in hesitation forever. Confidence isn't the fuel, it's the byproduct. It comes after the action, not before. Waiting for the perfect feeling is just a clever form of procrastination dressed up as wisdom. Those who win do not feel their way into action. They act their way into alignment. They don't wait to be inspired. They show up regardless of the emotional weather. Rain or shine, doubt or belief, joy or fear. They execute because they've made a non-negotiable decision about who they are and what they do. They've separated how they feel from how they move. Think about a surgeon. Do you want one who only operates when they're in a good mood, or a pilot who only flies the plane when they're feeling brave? Of course not. Professionals don't let emotions dictate performance. And if you want to be world-class in anything, business, fitness, relationships, you need to stop performing like an amateur. Your emotions are data, not learn from them, sure. Acknowledge them, but don't worship them. Feel tired, move anyway. Feel insecure, speak anyway. Feel afraid, execute anyway. Because the moment you obey every emotional impulse, you become a puppet to your own chemistry. And a puppet never builds anything lasting. This is the discipline most people will never master. Emotional independence. Not the absence of feeling, but the refusal to be ruled by it. When you take back the wheel from your mood, you stop being reactive and start becoming dangerous in the best way. You move with purpose, not permission. You start training your mind to follow your mission, not your moment. There's a reason so many people collapse under pressure. It's because they've built everything on the outside and nothing on the inside. They chase success, applause, money, status, but forget that without a strong inner foundation, none of it lasts. When life hits, as it always does, they fold. Not because the problem is too big, but because they're too hollow. Real strength isn't about showing off, it's about what holds you up when everything else falls apart. Your inner world is your fortress. It's what stands between you and chaos. It's what keeps you focused when distractions come. It's what keeps you calm when storms hit. Without it, every insult feels like a knife. Every failure feels like the end. Every delay feels like a rejection. But with it, you stop being easily shaken. You develop an unexplainable calm, a clarity that doesn't depend on circumstances. Discipline is the steel that frames your fortress. It's the quiet promise you keep to yourself every day. It's showing up when no one claps. It's doing the work without needing the world to notice. Most people think motivation builds success, but motivation is emotional. Discipline is structural. It's the difference between a tent and a fortress. Tents blow away in the wind. Fortresses hold under fire. Self-respect is the gate. If you don't respect yourself, nothing you build will matter. You'll sabotage it. You'll downplay it. You'll give it away to people who didn't earn access. But when you carry self-respect, your standards change. You no longer tolerate mediocrity in others or yourself. You stop chasing validation and start walking in quiet power. The kind of power that doesn't need to explain itself. And then there's purpose, the fire in the center of it all. Without it, the walls of your mind grow cold. You wake up tired, distracted, looking for reasons to quit. But when you have a purpose that burns, you can lose everything and still feel rich. Because purpose gives pain a meaning. It turns failure into feedback. It turns hard days into holy ground. You stop needing to be pushed because you've already decided where you're going. You become less reactive, more intentional, less emotional, more focused. And when your inner world becomes that solid, nothing from the outside can break through. Most people only feel powerful when they're winning, when things are going their way, when they're getting praise, when the results are visible. The moment life turns sideways, their identity collapses with it. That's because they've attached their sense of worth to external outcomes, things they don't control. They don't realize they've become emotional hostages to results. They feel strong when the numbers are up and weak when the feedback is silent. That's not power. That's dependence. The real shift happens when you detach from the outcome and attach to your identity. When you stop saying, "I'll believe in myself when I succeed," and start declaring, "I move like someone who succeeds no matter what the scoreboard says." That's the difference between the ones who last and the ones who disappear the moment it gets hard. When identity becomes the foundation, you stop performing for applause and start living from conviction. You don't need to be the best to act like the best. You just need to decide that this is who you are now. Walk like it. Work like it. Speak like it. You train the world how to see you by how consistently you embody your future. Most people are waiting for external permission, some green light to say, "You're," but champions move without it. They give themselves the license to operate on a higher level before the world ever catches up. The most powerful people are not driven by certainty. They are driven by alignment. They align their behavior with their vision, even when the results haven't shown up yet. That's how momentum is built. When your identity is locked in, results just become feedback, not definitions. Wins don't make you arrogant, and losses don't make you collapse. You remain steady because you're anchored to something deeper than outcome. This mindset creates consistency, and consistency creates results. It flips the whole formula. Instead of trying to feel successful in order to act successful, you act successful first, and the results follow. Your self-image becomes the thermostat for your actions. And when you raise that internal standard, you start rising, not because the world is giving you more, but because you've stopped waiting for permission to become more. Pain is not just something to survive, it's something to study. Most people flinch from it, numb it, avoid it, or drown it in distraction. They waste the very thing that could make them sharper, wiser, and more powerful. Pain shows up in your life with a message, but if you never sit with it, you'll never learn what it came to teach. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What is this shaping in me?" When you treat pain like an enemy, you stay blind to the precision it offers. Pain is one of the few forces that bypasses. It strips away illusion and reveals exactly where your boundaries are soft, where your thinking is outdated, where your habits are costing you. It reveals who really has your back. It exposes what you've been ignoring. But only if you stop running from it and start leaning into it. You can use pain to punish yourself or to prepare yourself. That choice determines everything. Some people take pain and use it as an excuse to lower their standards. Others take that same pain and raise their standards so high they never feel that kind of pain again. They build sharper boundaries, tighter discipline, clearer focus. They let pain carve away the unnecessary, so only the essential remains. The most dangerous people in the world are not the ones who've never been hurt. They're the ones who've been hurt deeply and didn't let it break them. They let it refine them. They used it like a scalpel, not a sledgehammer. They didn't let pain harden their hearts, but they did let it harden their minds. And that shift made them unstoppable. Every time you face pain, you stand at a crossroads. Shrink or sharpen. When you choose to sharpen, you build a kind of clarity that comfort never gave you. You start to see through distractions. You stop chasing easy. You develop a kind of emotional X-ray vision, able to detect what matters and what doesn't. Your tolerance for nonsense decreases. Your hunger for growth increases. And the things that used to paralyze you begin to feel like training weights. Pain isn't proof that something's wrong with you. It's proof that something powerful is being revealed in you. So here's your new reality. You are not fragile. You are not here to tiptoe through life hoping no one hurts you. You are here to stand so tall that the world has no choice but to rise with you or be left behind. Act as if nothing can hurt you. Speak as if every word creates your world. Move as if your steps are carving destiny, because they are. And when they ask, how did you become so unshakable? You'll smile and say, I stopped waiting to feel ready, and I started acting like I was already free. Now go and live like nothing and no one can stop